Greetings programs, Pyrrh here, and welcome back to the Vintage Story tutorial series. So last time we gathered reeds, created inventory, and made a couple of tools. What we want next is a little bit of light. So we will find a tree. Now the way this works is this axe will take the entire tree out at once, starting from the block that you chop. So we want to chop the very bottom block of this tree. It will start getting cracks in the log, and then you just keep holding it down. It will take durability from the axe to chop as many logs as it can, and actually any attached leaves. So if I don't have enough durability to take the entire tree, it will take as much as it can from the top down. And this tree is a whole lot bigger than I expected. And I can't believe that I still have some of my axe left. Now we take our axe with our wood, or our logs, and then that makes firewood. We can make all of this into firewood. And you'll see I have my grass. I'm going to make a fire starter with a piece of grass and 2 sticks, like so. When in doubt, press H to open the handbook, and apparently it is a shaped recipe. It will only work in that formation. Okay, our fire starter. Now we need one more piece of grass. So we're going to crouch place our dry grass, and now we hold the firewood in our hand. See how on the overhead it says fire pit in construction. We should be able to just right click with our wood 4 times until we have placed 4 pieces of wood on the fire, and now we have a complete fire pit. Now if we open it with our empty hand, you can see there's our firewood, and we can put something on here to burn. Now we are going to burn our torch so we can light it. Now we take our fire starter, and again you'll have to crouch, click, and hold until it lights the fire. This can happen quickly, this can take quite a while. Hey, there we go. That was a reasonable amount of time. Now, you can see my hunger bar is getting quite low. So after we make our torch, we'll want to cook some of these cattails. Now, if you shift click, that usually takes things out of a block and into your inventory. You can put the torch in your offhand, but having anything in your offhand actually makes you hungrier faster. So if you are short on food, I would suggest not putting it in your offhand quite yet. Also, be very, very careful. You can step into 1 deep water with your torch in your hand, but if you step into 2 deep, or if you crouch in the water, it will put your torch out and you'll have to relight it. Why don't I show you how to make another torch? Take your 2 pieces of grass and your stick, and we'll make another torch. What you can do with this is just right click, it'll place it on the ground. Now put your lit torch in your hand and right click and hold. Think, and also place that one down. But it now lights the torch, and you can left click to break it. Now, this is a good practice to keep these in your inventory or put them away in a basket. They'll stay lit and it won't burn up your basket. So if I go into this 1 deep water, I'm fine. But as soon as I crouch, there it goes. But I don't have to put it on the fire pit, which actually just went out. I can take my torch and hold and light the other torch again. And it keeps doing that. Torches will burn out, however, if you leave them in the world like this. They last for about 3 days, and then they will burn out, and they will be useless. If the rain, however, extinguishes them, then they're fine, and you can just relight them. If the fire pit is still hot, and you have more firewood, it will usually just stay lit or relight itself. If it's too cold, then you can use your fire starter, or now that I have torches, I can just use the torch. I need to put a spare torch in here. By now I am very hungry, so I'm going to take these little cattail roots and give myself a munchie. They don't fill you up very much, but hey, it's better than nothing. So now that we have inventory and light and firewood covered and making tools, we will want to gather a little bit more wood and do some foraging for some other food. One thing you can do is look for crops on the ground. This is mature flax, so if I bust this, I will not only get seeds and flax, but I will get some flax fibers. You have more of a chance at getting the additional items the more mature the crop is. This one is 6 of 9, so I'm lucky I've got a seed. No seed on that one, and no seed on that one. I wouldn't suggest gathering crops quite yet unless you have a good place to put them. As you can see, they do take a lot of room. So again, this is another really, really nice reason to have a trader nearby with a lot of storage. We're just going to put this right in here. I'm going to put the flax in the vessel. As you can see, it says it's fresh for 90 days. If I put it in the vessel, it's fresh for 146.7 days because it has a perish speed in the vessel of 0.61 for grain. So it's very nice to have a trader that has a vessel. If not, you could just put them wherever you have room. I would not suggest gathering the regular crops until you have a place to put your extra inventory. Now that there's a little bit more light, let's chop on this tree here. Oh, never mind, that is a really, really big tree. Let's chop this one. Using your tools and things also uses your hunger up quite a bit. And there are a bunch of logs. We got a seed, a tree seed, and it doesn't look like I got any more sticks. Axe here, and my wood. Right click on the fire with an empty hand, and that will cook most of those. You don't have to use up your basket room for the firewood. You can actually stack this by shift and right clicking. And you can stack them really, really high. That is nice how you can put some things in the game so you don't have to use your inventory. All right, I'm going to put my torch away just so I don't accidentally carry it through some water. And let's do a little bit of exploring. What we're looking for right now are berry bushes, mushrooms, flint and sticks. Okay, here is a ruin with a cracked vessel and it has tools in it. That's wonderful. You just break it open. There's another knife and another axe. Very nice. Okay, here's some more flax. Since I have the inventory because of the trader, I'm going to go ahead and grab the flax. If you don't have the inventory, I would mark these on your map. Remember, you open your map, you wear this little itty itty bitty dot in the middle. You can use your mouse wheel to zoom in, and then you right click and you can make note of what the crop is. Oh, see, there's something really good to note. When you find ore on the ground, you also want to mark the ore. Because what this says is that underneath the ground right here, there's lead ore underneath there. This doesn't happen for very many ores, but it's important to mark most of them. Here's another important thing to mark, and that's clay. In fact, I think we should probably gather some. So let's nap another tool. And for the clay, we'll want a shovel. Open my character window so it doesn't move around. And then just cut it out. There we have a shovel to harvest our clay. There are two different types of clay. There's blue clay and fire clay. Fire clay is usually the rarer of the two, so you want to mark these spots when you find them. But for our initial items, either the blue clay or the red clay will do. All right, let's see if we can find some berries and berry bushes to fill our hungry tummy. These sandy areas are great to look for extra flint. We're still wanting to gather sticks as well. Ooh, you have to be careful about these really, really deep holes too. This is another nice thing to mark. This is a cave. Looks like it has copper in it. Wonderful. Copper and black coal. That's even better. All right, with slate and shale, as well as limestone, they're all too soft to make tools out of. But I can shift click and put them back for now. I'm going to mark this cave on my map. Here's a place with quartz. We could go ahead and mark those. Usually the quartz is spread out over quite a large area. Oh, look, we found some mushrooms. We're going to use the knife because it'll go a lot faster. Let's see what kind of mushroom this is. Hover over it. When eaten 80 saturation, it does not say it's poisonous. It says it's called paddy straw. I'm going to mark those on the map too because they will respawn right where you harvest them. I happen to know that the fly agaric is poisonous, so let's see what that looks like when we hover over it. When eaten, 80 saturation, but minus 6.5 hit points. Just like in real life, you always double check your mushrooms. In the game, always hover over them before you munch them because there are look-alike poisonous mushrooms. We're going to get rid of that one. Okay, I'm going to gather a little bit more of the mushroom because these are really easy to grab, and I can't seem to find my berries. And there is a sheep. I will leave you alone. Yes, we have another trader. Will you let me get this mushroom, or is that yours? Nope. There went my knife. Guess I should have kept that extra knife on me. Okay, you know what? I think I'm going to steal your pot too. Oh dear. I'm sorry, but you're just making way too much noise. And, you know, the developers need to fix that if they don't want me stealing your pots. What kind of trader are you? You are an artisan. He sells the vessels and a fired crock, which is nice. I may not have to make so many. You purchased fire clay today and peat, which we have not found yet. I haven't found fire clay yet either. Okay, nice to know. We're going to mark you on our map. Okay, so what kind of storage do you have? Your wheels are buried in the ground, dude. You have a bucket. And I wonder... Nope, can't take the bucket. Oh, that's very nice. We have a chest nearby this trader. Yep. And you also have a chest here, and a basket, and a barrel. So I guess if we're needing to use a barrel, there's one right there. So this little trader area also has a bunch of very useful storage. So we have two different places that we can decide to spend some time before we make a place of our very own. So I'm going to continue to gather food and mark waypoints, possibly pick up some more clay before heading home. So yes, today's focus is foraging and marking locations on your map. No, you can never have too many sticks. Here's another thing that we are looking for while we are out exploring and foraging, and that is a copper node. You can see that here with the copper on the ground. You really want to find 3 to 5 copper nodes before you start picking up the little stones. You could just pick up the stones if you have room and mark them on the map, but it is ultimately easier if you just leave them on the ground until you find a total of 3 to 5 nodes. This is a nice little ruin. And there's a vessel. More tools. Very nice to get early on. I'm going to go ahead and mark the ruin as well. Heading home through the forest might not be such a great idea. This tends to be where wolves spawn. I have yet to see a bear. Oh, look. Funeral bell. Now I'm going to guess that that might be a poisonous mushroom. No, it's not. We're going to eat one. I wonder why it's called funeral bell then. Let's take our knives and we can grab them. And look, we're home. Our fire's still burning. And we have some cattails to eat. We're going to need some wood and some grass. So let's go ahead and gather a little bit more. So even though it's dark, we can go around our little surrounding areas. Go ahead and make all of your wood into firewood because we're going to need it in the morning. As I said, these take a lot of fuel to cook, but I'm going to go ahead and cook them up. Now this cooking pot does not need to take room in my inventory, so I can shift click and set it down. This isn't something that you would normally find. If you do happen to find it, however, you can stew your food early on. However, we don't have a way of eating it out of the pot because it does require a bowl. So there is that. And see how my gear is slowly spinning to the left? This is not someplace that we're going to want to build our base, at least not in this particular area. Now, supposedly when you harvest grass with a tool, it keeps it from growing again. I know this doesn't hold true for farmland, but on regular soil like this, I do believe that this keeps it permanently mowed. What we are going to do next is take this clay that we gathered, and just like we did when we were napping, we are going to, actually I'm going to face north. I'm going to face north first, and then I'm going to shift click my clay onto the ground. Now we have a selection of things that we can choose from for clay forming. I am going to make a bowl. Let's see here. And I'm going to go ahead and push C. That way I can move my mouse around and not move my face around. Now you press F, and this is your tool selection. So if I pick one by one, it's much like the napping. I press the button and I get rid of all the little voxels around the edge. Now, if I pick the 2x2 and go to the southeast corner, it'll reduce the 2x2 section, and you can go all the way across that way. Now I'm going to switch back to the 1x1, again pressing F to bring this dialog up, and then I right click to place the little voxel of clay onto the bowl, just like that. Okay, and what else we're going to need? We are also going to need a cooking pot. Since I happen to have one from the trader, I'm probably not going to make one. I'm going to save the time there, but let's shift click. And what else do we need to make? We are going to need to make a crock. So let's click on the crock. Press C again and press F to select the 2x2. And we're going to be on the southeast corner of it. And then you get the 2x2. And now I'm going to select 3x3. It removes the middle voxel when you've got the 3x3. You target the middle one. Okay, 1x1, right click to place the voxels in there. And you can hold the mouse down. And then this time we're going to duplicate layer. I click the duplicate layer and I right click anywhere on here, and it will basically do the same thing as it did underneath. And I can do that a couple more times. And if I do it here, see, it does that outside, but then it stops when it gets there. So I will select the 3x3, click in the middle, and then the 1x1, and give it a little spot on top. Now we have a crock. What else can we make? Again, if you don't have a pot that you have snitched from some sort of unsuspecting trader, you will need to make a cooking pot. I believe I want to make a crucible because we're going to need that when we get to our ores. So let's do the 1x1. The 2x2. Oh, a little too fast. And then the 1x1. Boy, looks a lot like the crock, doesn't it? And the bowl. There we are. And then duplicate layer. Whoops. That's what happens when you go a little too fast. We're gonna do that. And 3x3 right click in the middle. Apparently I'm not seeing what I'm doing there. Okay, and then we have to remove a voxel right there. There we are. There's our crucible. And one more thing that's really, really nice to make. We have a basket, and you can gather reeds for more baskets. But what's really nice to make is a vessel, because we're getting ready to be able to cook some food here. So let's crouch click and select the storage vessel. Now this one's a little more complicated. But still, you just follow it level by level, and you've got a really nice stack of clay, and you just keep going. Now, say you run out of clay, and I'm going to switch my hand to another hand. That's all. It just leaves it here. Now, if you break it, then you lose the clay that you've used. But you can just put more clay in your hand, and boom, it comes right back. So you can leave it in the middle, or if you run out, you can just come back to it later. It is just fine. Okay, we're gonna go to the 3x3 and just fill this whole thing in. Probably could have done a duplicate layer, huh? Now 1x1 and give it a little outside edge here. Okay, and duplicate layer. A little too fast there. Remove those. Whoops. And then put these in there. And go to 2 by 2. Three by 3. Duplicate this one. And there we are. We have a vessel. And I just realized that these 3 are really small. I really need to make another small thing to go in the kiln that we are about to make. So let's make another crock. And I need to go over here. You don't have to do this, but it's easier for me when I remember that when I'm doing the 2 by 2, it's the southeast corner. Okay, let's pick up our little clay forms that need to be fired. And now we are going to dig a pit kiln. Be careful with these. They will set things on fire that are within 5 blocks or so. So I think we're going to put 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, let's put one there. Let's put the torch over here so we can see. And what we'll do is we'll dig out these branches so we have room. Let's put one right here. Okay, and we first put in our piece that we want to fire. And I believe that we can put all 4 of these into one pit. I'm gonna put that one there. That there, crucible there, and the bowl there. Okay, now we take our grass and we crouch click until it fills up and we can't click it anymore. Then we take our sticks and we crouch click until we can't click anymore. Then we need some firewood. Huh, we happen to have some right here. I think it only takes 4. 3, 4. And then this is unlit. You can see how we're hovering over a pit kiln. Unlit, it tells us what's inside. Let's grab our torch again, and then we crouch click and hold it down until it's lit. There we are. Now I'm going to take out some of these branches before it sets fire to the forest. Okay, and we can do the same thing to make a pit kiln to hold our storage vessel. Right click to pick it up. And we can skip a block and dig one right next to it. Okay, and then shift click our vessel in there. It'll only fit one, unfortunately. Crouch, place our grass, then our sticks, then our firewood. That looks really interesting. Okay, it needs to be completely covered. Now, oops, crouch click with your torch. And now you can mouse over and it does say how long it will take. It said it'll be completed in 18.71 hours. So let's take out a couple more things around here just to be safe. Oh, that's one of those giant trees. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think we're probably safe here. And I can see my gear going down. We are in a bit of an unstable area, so it's a good thing that it's morning and we are going to go out foraging for some more food. Oh, so you know that little eerie music? It's kind of a warning to let you know that your gear is starting to drain a little bit too far. So thank you very much for joining me for today's episode. And we are making our food vessels and getting ready to cook some food tomorrow night. So I'm looking forward to next time. And in the meantime, play hard, die often, and leave a good-looking corpse. I hear bun buns somewhere over there in the dark.